Hello everyone, my name is Surya Selvam and I am a passionate climate and environmental advocate serving as the National Research Director at the Tomorrow Project. My goal is to educate our community citizens and our youth who hold the future in their hands about sustainable living and how they can be more sustainable every single day. With Earth Day right around the corner, I thought it would be a great idea to produce a video about some simple and fundamental recommendations and reminders that everyone can and should enact in order to produce a clean world and be a part of a global collective initiative to combat greater catastrophes like climate change. So, a big reason why we are all having this discussion about environmental destruction, climate change, and just a lack of sustainability in the news is because we are all part of a cycle of consumer demand in which consumer products are readily available for our consumption, and that produces unwanted surplus of waste that our planet simply cannot tolerate. Keep in mind, our planet is a living and breathing biosphere made up of all of the plants and animals. And it relies on a one-to-one recycling system in which waste products are consumed and decomposed by our planet in order to produce new molecules and substances. But we have gamed that system. We have deliberately degraded and inhibited our planet's ability to recycle by consuming and wasting substances like plastics, which cannot biodegrade, and food waste thrown into the trash cans and put into the landfills that add on to our greenhouse gas emissions. Hey guys, so we're right here where I want to talk to you about the number one recommendation, a saying that's very often said but not frequently done in action, and that is reducing, reusing, and recycling. So here we got some one-time use plastic utensils and a plastic water bottle. And these types of plastics have pervaded our lives for more than 40 years. But it's now time that we escape and quit buying them. We gotta fight the urge of buying these kind of plastics. These plastics are very dangerous to our health and our wildlife because they're made of thousands of combinations and compositions of chemicals like phthalates and vinyl chlorides, which are dangerous to our bodies and the bodies of animals out in the wild. So we've got to, as a first line of defense, reduce the use and eliminate the use of these types of plastics. Instead of using these kinds of plastics, we can go ahead and opt for reusable options like glassware and stainless steel cups and water bottles, right? So that's one thing that we really need to do instead of using all these kinds of plastics that are only going to end up in the wild and entangle different organisms and produce chemical leaching, which we never want. Now, if you absolutely cannot reduce the use of plastics and you end up buying some plastic products, you can go ahead and recycle, which is the second line of defense. Go ahead and wash out anything that's inside of these containers, dry them out, and you can go ahead and recycle them like the rest of your recyclable materials, like your glassware, your aluminum cans, and your paper and carton products. Now that's if you absolutely cannot reduce the use of plastics, because recycling facilities like your local recycling authority, your waste management authority, are very limited. So only if you cannot reduce the use of these plastics, then you can recycle as a second option. Not all plastics can be recycled. So it's very important to check in with your local waste management facility to see what materials are accepted. A lot of complex plastics like grocery store bags and plastic liners can get stuck and damage equipment in these waste management facilities. So whenever you have grocery store bags and plastic liners like cereal bags, go ahead and take them to your local supermarket or home improvement store that collect these materials for you. But there's a better option. You can, instead of taking your grocery store bags, you can take reusable bags instead, like your paper bags, to your grocery store visits. But if you ever accept a grocery store bag from your grocery store visit, make sure that on your next grocery store visit to put these grocery store bags in the recycling bin at the store. Another big killer of the planet is food waste. Because every single year we waste more than 80 million pounds of food. That's more than 30 to 40% of all the food we produce here in the United States. That food is taken to the landfills where they are anaerobically decomposed in the absence of oxygen into methane and carbon dioxide, adding on to our greenhouse gas emissions. So instead of sliding all of our food waste into a trash can where it's taken to the landfills, we can be a little creative here. We can compost these food materials out in our garden or in a vegetable patch where all those nutrients and minerals can be used for growing crops and growing food, our own fresh food. So instead of in the trash can, I can go ahead and slide all of these food wastes into a little container I have here for compost. With this compost, you have two options. You can put it in a compost bin, or you can put it directly into the ground for natural decomposition. But without going through all of that hassle of setting up that compost bin and putting the earthworms in, I think the best option is just creating a little food waste pile and dumping it right into the ground, where you have all of the atmospheric oxygen and the decomposers in one place to break down your food waste. Now the next step is to break all of this food waste down to smaller pieces and spreading some topsoil over it. And now you got your natural decomposition without any of the methane or carbon dioxide, some of these potent greenhouse gases being emitted.